BowTie Barbecue Company at 6724 Waters Avenue in Savannah serves up barbecue both familiar and new, made by hand and made with love. Family friendly and relaxed, BowTie takes great pride in the by hand preparation of high quality beef ribs, smoked chicken, pork spare ribs, and more. Come join the BowTie family. Ask about our food truck and catering too. BowTie Barbecue Company, Southern charm naturally. Look for them online at BowTieBarbecueCO.com.
Welcome in to BowTie Barbecue. Christian Gokel alongside the head football coach for your cadet, Danny Britt, here at the Danny Britt Show, breaking down the last couple weeks of the season as we get ready for a playoff run for your cadets. A big region win this past Friday night and an even bigger game coming up tomorrow night. But, Coach, first of all, it's football weather outside, man. I know you said you walked outside this morning and you could just feel it in the air.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was 40-something degrees this morning. We got up about 4:30, 4:45, and Steph said, leave the door open. So it feels really good.
There's a little golden moment throughout the season in the fall where on Saturdays you can have the windows open all day. Yeah. You only get a few of them a year because then all of a sudden it gets really cold.
Right.
And you gotta turn on the heat a little bit. But a couple Saturdays a year, you just leave the windows open, watch college football all day. It's about the peak of the year, and then the other 50 weeks just kind of slog by. But
right.
Also, Coach, some news. We got a happy birthday to throw out there today.
We do, Ms. Howard. Happy birthday, turning 29 today. So it's a special birthday.
And I know, Coach, excited and a lot of energy around the fan base right now because you guys on a little bit of a winning streak here and going into a massive region game coming up tomorrow night. But this past Friday night, Wayne County came to town, a historically great program. I know they've hit some hard times these past couple of seasons, but we talked about it. When you have a team that's down, you don't want to do anything to let them get some hope in their eyes, and you guys came out firing in the first half. Stephen Cannon, 2 quarters, had 6 touchdowns. I think just about every offensive skill player scored in the first half, so spreading out the love a little bit. But I think the biggest thing was came out firing and just put it to bed early.
Definitely. I think first of all, came out defensively just extremely aggressive, and they could not in any way, shape, or form handle our defensive front as they were getting after it, playing very aggressive. And then what I liked about it is it wasn't like Coach DePhillips was running, just a basic, basic ISO plays or
right.
fullback dive plays. He was running his offense and throwing the ball, and Stephen was 7 for 8 for 183 yards and 5 touchdowns. So
and had a 1 on the ground.
Yeah, just came out firing, and it was good to see.
So, again, massive win and another region win for you guys. Let's start defensively on that side of the ball. I think a couple of weeks in a row here where you've played teams that are fairly limited on offense. I know Warner Robins, they had some injuries and really about 3 or 4 plays that you saw. Wayne County comes in, a bunch of young guys, freshman quarterback starting for them. Really didn't see too much variety with the play calling. In situations like that, what are you looking for defensively from your guys?
Yeah, I want to see what we were able to see. It's their job to go play and do what we do and follow our process. So I think they did that, came out and played very aggressive. Coach Houston called it aggressively. The defensive front played extremely physical, and the other guys, where they were supposed to be. Some of the steps, as I mentioned last week,
yes,
were a little questionable,
which
worries me. But we're going to have to do much better this coming week. But they played well in the secondary as well. I thought that we did a good job with that and just played very aggressive, and that's the main thing we were looking for.
I thought one of the biggest factors early in the game were turnovers. You guys were able to hop on a couple of fumbles there. I know a lot of times people look at fumbles and they're like, hey, it's kind of a luck of the draw thing. Somebody made a mistake on offense. A lot of times it's a defensive player getting to the point of contact and forcing that ball out that really causes that turnover. Sometimes mesh point, somebody just puts the ball on the ground. Right. But I thought the fumbles in the first half was somebody getting there aggressively, making a play, and then that's what was forcing the fumble.
And that's what we're saying, playing aggressive. That first one was 1,000%. JoJo Sutton came in, put his hat directly on the football, knocked it out, and Larson was flying to the ball and was able to fall on it. So, we made those happen, Yeah. So I was proud of the guys for making those contact, making the plays, and then everybody else flying to the ball so we could recover it.
And I know,
the first one was actually Mackay putting his hat on the ball. The second one was JoJo putting his hat on the ball, but both of them put their hat directly on the ball so that the next guy could jump in on it.
And that was one thing I thought really stood out to me from the secondary. We talked about them getting their steps right, but also thought Makai, like he usually does, ran the alley really well. And same thing with JoJo, came up, made a big hit as well. So those guys, again, it seems like in a win that's this massive, they're like, is there that much to watch on tape? Yeah, you can pick some stuff out and say, hey, this is what we need to see going forward.
Definitely. And, there's always that. You can always look and see, or again, like Coach Saban always says, you're following your process.
Right.
And our process doesn't change who we're playing or what the situation is. You're just supposed to go through it and do it to the level that we expect. So every game you can do that. And I thought they did a good job with that. And I really like what Coach Houston and Coach Moore are doing with the secondary stuff. They're showing different things and moving,
right.
And they're playing cover 3 to scenarios I used to would not play cover 3 to. And so they're doing a really good job with it, and the guys are they're enjoying it, I think, because they're able to show things late and maybe get some surprise, balls.
And I know, again, with the secondary, the more reps they get together, the smoother it's going to be, especially with that communication. But Makai's played safety for you guys for a long time now. Wyatt Esterbrook's played for you guys for a long time. JoJo's got a ton of snaps under his belt. Jonathan Black is really starting to develop. Amari Burst in that mix as well. When you have experience in the secondary, what kind of play calls and roles does that allow you to do? Whereas if you have a less experienced secondary, probably not able to do that.
Without a doubt, it makes them so much more difficult when you don't have that experience. You have to be more vanilla.
Right.
And all of those guys, well, not only are all those guys experienced, they're also all smart young men who can understand it. So we can do more. You can take, our basic coverage is sink. Well, sink can be about 6 different coverages according to how you want to play it. Now, when they're all new, basically you just play sink. And then you start adjusting and doing different parts of it, different calls to it, and it can really, really be difficult on a quarterback.
And I thought you kind of saw that play out a little bit on Friday night, especially Wayne kind of went heavy when they were really trying to run the football between the tackles. You guys rolled a safety down into the box. And they did some motion, so you guys have to communicate on the back end who has who, but really kind of rotating from your traditional front to a bear front during the play.
Yeah, definitely. And the guys have done a really good job. Coach Houston does a great job of coaching that, teaching that. And the guys have done a good job of understanding. And yes, you're able to roll up into a bear front, be able to adjust back out of the bear front if we needed to. Secondary, can roll into several different things. So they've done a good job with that. And I've been impressed with, how much Coach Houston can get done with that.
And we're going to talk about mental processing offensively, but defensively for you guys. I know as you go forward, we've already seen it with a team like Buford and Ware County that were really able to do it. Modern offenses, it kind of feels like everybody's going to put a little bit of motion in. Whether it could just be a waste motion where they're just trying to see whether or not you're in man. But when you're moving one guy from across the field to the other side of the field, that's where those play calls start to come in. And again, having a senior laden secondary can really alleviate some of that stress for you guys.
Without a doubt, and it's everybody's doing it. Like we keep talking about every week. The level we're playing in the high schools we're playing, you're having to defend the entire field, from 50 yards in depth and the entire 53 and whatever across, 53 and a third or whatever it is across, and you defend that entire thing, and then that all shifts, in the pre-snap, and so it gets kind of. It is very important to have kids who understand that. And right now we have kids that have played a lot of football.
Again, dominant defensive performance. I know we can give a ton of kudos. Defensive line, I didn't think you check it off every week. Another great game for them. They were just mauling people up front. But flipping it over on the offensive side of the ball, I want to start at that line of scrimmage. We named our player of the game. I think for the first time ever, we said offensive lineman.
Right.
I think Carlton Hall, he didn't end up being your lineman of the week when the coaches went back and watched the tape, but just during the game, us watching, kind of felt like he was the emotional leader, but just the aggression at which he plays with, and then just flat out some of the pancakes that he's able to get. It's growing more and more. I know we've talked about him a few weeks in a row now, but last week I thought he was our player of the game offensively, because when you score on that many consecutive plays, it felt like for you guys, it all starts up front.
Without a doubt. And honestly, Carlton could have been the offensive lineman of the week every week for us.
Yeah.
Coach Fogarty and I've had that conversation, but we want to kind of spread the wealth a little bit there, and but Carlton has really come along and done so good. He you got to realize last year at this time he had just had surgery.
Yeah.
And was not a happy camper and has worked so hard. He weighed in at exactly 300 pounds the other day, and they were doing a percentage rep squat, and I forget. I mean, he had 400 something pounds on there, and he's low repping that 400 something pounds on the squat, and I was just like, wow, you just think where he's come in that year, moving so well. We're very proud of him. He is playing nasty. He's playing smart. He's playing aggressive. He's just doing things well.
And for those of you out here who don't know, I know a lot of times you see high school squats don't necessarily aren't squats. Coach Reich, you're getting below parallel. You're locking out at the top. So those reps are all good.
They are good reps. I promise you. We're not doing those. We call those squats something I cannot say right now on air.
Okay.
We call them a certain name that we don't do those.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it afterwards. But Carlton played outstanding. But Reese Leonard ends up, I believe, getting the offensive lineman of the week. And,
he did.
And he's a guy who I think you've seen him play snaps with a C team. And just a big body dude, but week after week, I think continues to get better. Could play offensive line, defensive line. I think just kind of like an old school high school football player.
Definitely getting better and better, and just a young kid and physically talented, smart kid. We don't give him credit for that. He's too young to tell him he's smart now, so nobody tell him until next year. But no, he's really come along, and we felt like he had another good game, and deserve some attention because they get so little right there.
And I know a guy we don't talk about a lot, like moving to the skill players, is Cole Henderson, and it's tough when you have these many guys in front of you, and we've just seen it time and time again where it's like, don't wait your turn, and you're going to get the football.
Right.
And he took advantage when he got it. I mean, for most other teams in the state, a guy who's probably getting 10, 15 touches a game.
No doubt. And I talked to him yesterday. I laughed because we were in a break, and I just was sitting there looking at him, and I thought about it. I said, I bet you have like the best yards per carry in the state. And I said, I don't know what it is. I haven't looked it up, but I bet it's really good. And he told me, he said, Coach, I think it's like 25
That'll play
25 yards a carry and touch to touchdown ratio has to be really good too, because he'll usually get like 2 carries a game. He gets 2 or 3 yards on one and takes 160 for a touchdown. So hopefully he can keep doing that.
Just a great physical build to him too. I know he's got a lot of high school football left in him, but when you look at him, I mean, feel like if he put on a couple pounds, he could play linebacker. If he lost a couple pounds, could probably play a slot receiver for somebody. I mean, just built like a really strong athlete.
Have you seen his father?
I have not.
You would know why he felt like that. His dad is yoked, but
a lot of yoked dads on the team.
I like it, man. That's a good thing. But yeah, he is, and no, Cole is a really good athlete, and he fought through some injuries early. I don't know if you remember that. He broke both collarbones. He literally, came back, basically lost a year his freshman year, came back his sophomore year, broke it again. And then so now he's finally getting his chance, and he's playing really well. We're trying to, we're spreading the wealth.
Sure.
You can't. They understand you only get so many touches, so you better take advantage of it
as much as you can. I know Aaron Mallard gets another touchdown. Josh Washington gets a touchdown. Stanley Smart punches one in. But we were talking about just having smart players, and Bubba Frazier's a senior. He's seen every defense that you can throw at him, but a lot of times high school receiver, they're just going out there and they're running the route against the guy lined up in front of them. But you hear Bubba talking after the game. He hits that long post from Steven, and he's like, yeah, I saw that they were in cover 3, so I kind of stemmed the inside safety and kept this guy on my outside shoulder and then broke it down on the post. Like, that's not usual for a high school wide receiver.
Well, Bubba's not a usual kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about his athletic ability. I mean, the young man himself. He's special. In fact, Coach Brown was down visiting from Notre Dame today. Is going to be at practice, and I reminded him again. I said, I know I've told you this already. You're getting a special young man. Forget about football for a minute. He's just such a smart, good kid. Yesterday at practice, I go over there looking, and Bubba's over there talking to Stephanie, and was asking her like questions about he came over to the house and like how much he liked their house, and just things most 17, 18-year-old kids don't have the ability to do. So super neat young man, and really, really fast too, by the way.
A little bit, a little bit. But
actually, Steven underthrew him just a little bit there, and he had to come back to it, but came back and made a great play, and then backpedaled it in the end zone there.
I think Steve was just saying, hey, you're so far open, I'm not going to overthrow you. I'm going to give you a chance to make a play. But, yeah, contact balance there, too, where a guy's falling on you as you make that to be able to get into the end zone. Just unbelievable stuff from Bubba, and excited we get to watch him for a few more games before he heads up to South Bend. But massive game coming up this Friday, Coach, a chance to lock up the region here with the game to go. We're going to break that down next right here on the Danny Britt Show.
As the world's largest lifestyle retailer of recreational boats and yachts, MarineMax is dedicated to connecting people with life-changing experiences on the water. More than just a boat retailer, MarineMax offers a complete range of services. 3518 Old Tybee Road, Thunderbolt, and online at marinemax.com.
Cash and Carry wants to buy your car. New, used, running or not. Miles don't matter. We pay cash on the spot. Fast, easy, and hassle-free. Call today. Cash and Carry, where your car turns into cash.
Welcome to Sandnat Golf Carts, where luxury meets quality. We offer a wide selection of top-notch custom golf carts to suit your every need. With our extensive inventory, you're sure to find the ride of your dreams. Plus, our flexible financing options make it easier than ever to drive one off the lot today. Whether you're cruising the neighborhood or joyriding with the family, Sandnat Golf Carts is here to provide exceptional service every step of the way. Visit us today to elevate your ride.
BC Brothers Moving is Savannah's most trusted moving service. From residential to commercial to packing supplies, BC Brothers does it all. Let BC Brothers' energetic, trustworthy team wrap it, pack it, and move it for you. Check out BC Brothers online at bcbrothersmoving.com or give them a like on Facebook.
Welcome back in to the Danny Britt Show, and Coach, a big one coming up this Friday night.
Yes, sir. Friday Night Lights bring excitement, passion, and community coming together. Abel's Iron On Moore and Associates is proud to support that same community on the field and in your financial future. Independent, fee only, focused on you. Contact AIMA at 912-777-4128 or visit AIMAINC.com today and see why their clients trust them to guide their next play. Also want to mention that Jeff Iron On has volunteered, and his company have volunteered to work with our NIL guys and talk to them and explain to them and help them through the initial process. Now, if they end up going with them, which several of them have, they end up charging their basic fees. But I think that's just a huge part of what we can offer to these kids 100%. Is have somebody come in and guide and help them through this and show them. No 18-year-old understands that, okay, you get $100,000. Basically, you get $50,000. Yeah. Uncle Sam gets the first 50.
Correct.
So, just things like that, how to help with that. So, it's super great that Jeff and his company are doing that.
And I think even beyond that, what a lot of 18-year-olds don't realize is once money starts getting thrown around, even if it's $20, people start coming out of the woodworks that necessarily probably don't have your best interest in mind. So having a company like that who they're secure, yes, and they know how to handle a whole lot of money, that's just a huge benefit.
Yeah, Uncle Johnny, who has no money, probably doesn't know how to manage that money.
Yeah. So AY knows more. I'd go ahead and give those guys a holler before Uncle Johnny. But Coach, massive one tomorrow night as you guys head up to Perry to take on a 4-4 team, but a team that battle tested. They've won some big games. They've lost some close games. I know last week against Ware, one play goes the other way, and they're winning that football game.
Right.
And they're kind of coming in with the same mindset. But for you guys, I kind of look at it as hey, we can accomplish a goal and just check something off the list coming up on Friday night. You win on Friday, you're region champs. There's no questions about it. You don't win on Friday, all of a sudden a whole bunch of question marks come in that we just don't need to have in the lexicon.
No doubt, and that the kids understand that this is the region championship. They are dead focused, as I think we all are. The entire program is focused on going and getting this thing. And Perry's a good football team. They're not where they have been. And I kept hearing that, and then I turned on the film Sunday and was like, well, they're still pretty daggone good. And they got some big guys, a lot of different guys that can run, which it's how they've been the past few years, and play really hard. Coach Smith has them playing well and hard, and can do a lot of different things. So we have to go with the mindset of we've got to go win this thing and go play our best ball, which I have to say, and never really know, but I feel like we will. I feel good about where we are right now.
I was going to say, and I feel like the team kind of hyper focused this week. Not that you need any more motivation, but last year's game, the way it goes, where again, you talk about coin flip, you guys, couple plays that you don't make. I say it's more than a couple. Y'all probably left 6 or 7 plays on the table where you could win that game by 2 or 3 touchdowns last year. So Mari's first start at home and a chance for you guys to put yourself back towards the top of the region. Perry ends up winning that football game. From my sense from around the team is they haven't forgotten that, and that's given it a little extra focus this week.
Without a doubt. And, we understand, we feel like we had every opportunity to win that game. It hurt. It really cost us that we didn't. And, we're dead set on going and kind of taking that back. And I don't, revenge a lot of times it's not that. Like, because they're teenagers. I mean, you think a year ago, they don't, but they understand the importance of it and that what we have ahead of us and what we need to do to make that happen, how much we want that.
And for everything we're saying, Perry's saying the exact same thing to their team, because they win this one, they put themselves in the mix. It'd be a tie atop the region with Benedictine, Ware, and Perry all with 1 loss in the region with the final week to play. And so, again, they're saying all the same things to their guys, plus they're at home for this matchup where it's going to be a very hostile environment. I'm curious for you, what are the kind of the commonalities, the common factors for teams that are good on the road?
I think one, and it seems so cliche, but play good defense.
Right.
I mean, that's what
defense travels. That's
say.
what everyone says. Yeah.
Defense travels. Have a good run game. But it's not just coach speak. It's true.
Yeah.
Because those are foundations, that you can carry with you. So there's that. But I think also it's teams that have been there and been through it. And my gosh, have these guys been there and been through it? If we just look at this year and where we've been, I'm sure it's going to be a great environment. It's a beautiful stadium. Steph and I rode by it this summer, visiting one of her friends, and just kind of went and looked at it. But I don't think it's going to be any more hostile than Colquitt County.
Yeah.
So I feel like we understand what it'll take to go and play in a place like that and come out winner.
I am, again, curious, when you approach games like this, is there – I know sometimes it just kind of winds up going this way by the way the game's going. We're like, hey, we're going to have to limit possessions. We're going to have to pound clock. Do you guys go in with a game plan like that, or does it's like first couple of series you kind of see how the game's flowing and you adjust from there?
There are times when we do. This isn't one of those. You have to go in and feel where we're at, what we'll have success with, and then you may have to start saying, hey, we've got to realize we got to take advantage of we got to score almost every time, or hey, let's just run as much time as we can, try to run the ball, field position, all those things. It's really a feel of the game most of the time. I mean, there's certain situations where you go in and say, we know we're going to have to do this against this team. So, and I think for the most part, you kind of approach every game the same and just go in, and then you start feeling in the game, okay, we need to do these things.
I got you. And I know Perry, a team, again, if nothing else, they're going to put out very good athletes and they're going to have size, but kind of the last few years, also multiple quarterbacks that they're going to roll out there. Watching them this year, do they have a main guy, or are they kind of still 2-3 guys that they're going to roll out?
They have a main guy, but they'll still involve another guy, bigger guy, number 8, will come in, can do some different things, but they have their primary quarterback who's a senior this year and has played a lot of football.
Because that's what we saw last year, where 3 different guys came out, and then they're like, okay, which one's kind of clicking? And then they stuck with him. I think it was number 12, maybe, and he was the one who could kind of sling it around a little bit better than the other guys, which I feel like against your defense, if you're going to put up points, you got to be able to throw the football.
Yeah, they're going to have to be able to do that, I would think, against that front 7, which, of course, getting the ball off can be difficult too. So hopefully we're going to make that happen. It's 15 is their quarterback this year, who's a senior, and can throw it and do some different things. But they still roll in another guy. I guess that's Coach Smith's, way of doing things. And it seems to work for him.
All that kind of leading to, I feel like this is the biggest game for the secondary this year, because Perry's going to be able to challenge you through the air. I know Ware could challenge you through the air as well. And obviously Buford is what Buford is, but in terms of the front seven, I feel like they're not going to bang their head against a wall if the run game's not working.
Right.
And we talked about coming off of back-to-back games where you didn't have too much work to do. You need that back four to be really, really locked in.
We're going to have to be, and we've, I think I've drawn up 50 scout cards this week. And a lot of times what we'll do is we get the main ones and just kind of recycle them through that week. We've drawn up, Coach Housen's had me drawing up different plays every day, even today. So we can, kind of get all their pass concepts and that sort of thing thrown out there. Although they are 60% run, 60% run, 40% pass. So, but I think against us,
that gets skewed a little
you
bit.
You would hope that we're going to force them to do maybe what they don't want to do sometimes.
Again, huge game, just the implications for that one. But what you guys are scouting from them, you talked about it there a little bit, 60-40 with the run. What kind of offensive attack are they throwing at you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's a zone blocking scheme, a lot of, your basic zone, and then they'll run the split zone, which everybody runs now, which is everybody's running zone to the right, and then H-back kicks, and it kind of gives, basically it's an influence play.
Do you just find like the biggest meathead on the team and put him as the H-back?
No, we got Bennett Conaway, who's doing really, really good, right? And he's catching passes, and he would not be described as a meathead, but he's doing good physically blocking. But he's athletic too, and he likes to catch the ball. But sometimes you do, yes. And then they'll run counter and counter tray off of that too, and then of course play action pass and basic 5-step drop.
And I know for Perry defensively, they can do a lot of different things. If they have to go nickel, they can. If they have to put a bunch of guys in the box, they can. If you had to guess, how do you think they approach taking on your offense?
I don't know. We're trying to think of that and exactly how they're going to do it. I mean, everybody has to make a decision with our offense. Yeah. Like, how are we going to set up against each style of offense? So we basically run. And so you have to make a decision, but they got enough athletes that they can do it. Hopefully we can throw the ball, and not let the front 3 or 4 coming affect us, and they'll have to do more, and then that'll open up some things for us.
I know it's different approaches that we've seen this year. Some teams just send 3 and drop 8 and say, hey, you're going to have to get down there in 12 plays. And then some teams have felt comfortable, like Ware County, challenging you guys on the outside and saying, hey, you're going to have to beat us one-on-one over the top. We're not going to let you get to the edge and run the football. I know we talk so much about schemes and the different ways to do that, but a lot of times it just comes down to who you have on your football team. Right. And looking at Perry, they've got a bunch of good athletes. If they have to, I feel like they probably have the confidence maybe to try that.
I think they definitely do. I think this is going to be they have enough athletes. They are good enough in the secondary. They're good enough everywhere where they can just play ball.
Yeah. And
play their best football. So it won't be as big a decision as some of the other teams you were talking about, where they had to just we're going to have to just kind of drop everybody and say, hey, run the ball if you want to, but it will not be that sort of situation. I
think back to Westminster, where I think you guys averaged about 12 yards of carry in that game, because they're like, we're just not letting you throw the football.
Basically, they were like, you're not completing anything back here. So, and we just kind of ran basic football plays for 12 yards of carry.
That's it.
That's what you do.
Again, huge one coming up tomorrow night. BC takes on Perry with a chance to lock up the region title. We'll have audio broadcast here tomorrow night, but we encourage everybody, if you can, hit the road, head up to Perry, and cheer on your cadets. I think we've got a fan bus that's going to be packed out up there, so that should be awesome, just seeing all the cadets from Savannah up at Perry. But, Coach, before we get out of here, got about a minute left. I want to give you your flowers. It's like a little bit about football. All of a sudden, number 14 for Georgia just keeps crawling up that Heisman Trophy candidacy a little bit. Yep. I think 5 touchdowns is pretty good, 12 for 12, 120-something yards in the second half against a top 10 team. That's pretty good. It's like you thought he was going to be all right.
Yeah, see, everybody kept questioning, what's Gunner? Gunner's not good. I think I mentioned last week, I was reading Facebook and, all these women were like, oh, Gunner's not a Division I quarterback. He is a dog, man. I've been telling you the whole time. He is a dog. The team loves him. Kirby loves him for a reason. All right, not because he's just a nice guy, which he is, but because he's a dog. He's a great player, and I'm so proud of him. And he seems to be having a blast right now.
And it's funny the progression that we're watching, where it's, hey, did Georgia really get the better of the two quarterbacks from Carson Beck and them? And so I think that can still be up in the air. And now it's kind of becoming, he's not a great quarterback, but he's a great quarterback for Georgia. I'm like, I think he's just a great quarterback.
I think he's a great quarterback. And I want to say this about Carson Beck. Carson Beck, he had a pretty good year his last year there. He didn't have the receivers or the line, but certainly the receivers that he had the year before. It just happens, and it's not. But Gunner is a good quarterback, and you are seeing the progressions that Kirby was talking about, which has to happen, where now he's throwing the ball on time into spaces before the guy's there, and it's starting to pay off.
And then also down in Statesboro, you guys just keep putting, was it BTA, belt to butt, in that Georgia State, Georgia Southern series.
Yes.
My alma mater, Georgia State. Listen, we've only had a football team since 2010, but I think that was kind of some catharsis for a lot of Georgia Southern fans, seeing 41 points put up, some big performances. I think that was much needed in Statesboro.
We needed it definitely, and apparently, Steph and I didn't go. We just decided to relax, and we gave our tickets to some friends, some of the coaches, and but it was great. We watched it on TV. It was great to see, and we really, really needed that. And apparently, it was just one incredible atmosphere.
Right.
The atmosphere at Georgia Southern now has just gone to a whole nother level, which is really, really cool to see.
Listen, when you pack Paulson, it's pretty special there.
It is special. It's a special place.
And I know some fun games coming up in the Sun Belt towards the end of the season. Georgia Southern fighting, getting that bowl game. So a lot of fun football. It's just the best time of year, man. It's everything's hitting, getting close to the playoffs. We're excited. And I know, Coach, you guys pumped for tomorrow night. We'll have the broadcast here on Watch BC Sports, man, and we'll see you up there.
All right. Thank you, sir. Go Cadets.